Greetings, Guardians. My name is Bife here. So that just happened. No script right now. Well, how do I best explain this without first saying spoilers? Please go and play the season finale of the Season of the Seraph, because if you don't, what are you doing? Seriously, go play it. There are spoilers all over Twitter and YouTube, and if you're watching this video first, you probably see spoilers on the sidebar. Ignore those, don't watch them, go play it if you can. If not, stick around here and listen to everything that's going on. Format for this video, I guess, is just going to be we'll run through what happened and talk about everything that's going on, and talk about some of the implications. Again, there's no script for this, so if this ends up being a little bit off-topic rambly, that's why. Regardless, you start this week with the update to Destiny, falling directly into the helm, and then this conversation ensues between Anna Bray and Rasputin.
Rasputin, you can't be serious.
We have no other options. Aramis has breached the Warsat network security protocols. Soon, our most dangerous weapon will be in our enemy's hands. Once she issues the command to fire, not even I will be able to stop it. Our only choice will be to destroy the Warsats. All of them.
The only way to do that is...
Yes. Once I am uploaded to the orbital station, you must activate my self-destruct sequence.
No! There must be another way.
I have run trillions of combat simulations. They all end with the same result. My mere existence places humanity in danger. All that I am, every protocol, every line of code, must be erased forever. I must die, so others may live.
I won't let you sacrifice yourself.
I know. Clovis built me to be a weapon, to destroy my designated targets. But you taught me to be something more. A shield, a protector, a guardian. He gave me form, he gave me function. But you gave me purpose. Please help me fulfill that purpose now. Let me save humanity.
I just got you back. Now I have to say goodbye.
I've always been with you, Anna. And I always will be.
So, yeah, that's bad. Red, unfortunately, is in that place where he's going to have to sacrifice himself in order to destroy all of the Warsats and prevent Abhorrent Imperative from being enacted. Remember, Abhorrent Imperative was partly Red's fault, but it's also partly the fault of Clovis Bray, so if we have people to be angry at, let's also lay a little bit of the blame at Clovis's feet, because if Rasputin wasn't designed by him to strike down the Traveler, then, well, we wouldn't be in this mess. Anyway, the point of all of this is that we're going to need to very quickly enact an attack on Seraph Station, and there's no time for subterfuge. We go in, and we're not the only ones. As you roll through the mission, you can see that there are guns blazing all around. Keitel's fleet is actually moving into position to attack the fleet of House Salvation. If you look off to the left, there is a full-on space battle with approaching Ketches and various different Cabal harvesters out there fighting around the periphery of the station. So, it's a really big moment. And then, we actually run into Aramis herself, and this happens.
This was it. This was your final resistance? I expected more. House Salvation. Destroy the Guardian, and vengeance for Reese is ours.
Guardian, Aramis has begun initiating the firing sequence. We do not have much time.
So Aramis retreats, and at this point has effectively begun the launch sequence of the Warsats. We're in a huge amount of trouble at this point. When you do finally get to the Warsat control, it's very clear that the Hive forces are coming to reinforce the House of Salvation, and so you fight in this massive melee, in the middle of all of it whilst Rasputin is uploading himself via the Pillory Engram. And when you finally do defeat the terrible Hive wizard that you face off against, who killed me a few times, who, by the way, is called the Scourge of Earth, you get a cutscene. really quickly before we jump into all of that, the whole Scourge of Earth bit is important. Remember all the Hive that we've been facing throughout this season? They've been called things like the Scourge of the Dakoa, aka the Dakoa nest from the Ecumene. Or they've been the Scourge of the Ammonite, the first species that the Hive killed. Or the Scourge of the Helium Drinkers, who were the other krill that existed on Fundament that the Hive have killed. And this boss is called the Scourge of Earth. Yeah, the intent here is very clear. Sivu was pretty sure that this was going to be her masterstroke. And it very nearly was. And it was very nearly the point at which all of this truly became disastrous. So, here's what happened. This is how things ended.
It's happening again. The whirlwind.
Aramis.
Don't worry. The Great Machine will never abandon anyone again.
It's leaving. The Traveler is leaving. The Warsats.
Aramis, please do not do this. If you care at all for our people, if there is anything left in your heart, make it known your pain.
Anna, it's time.
For Reese.
Goodbye, Red.
Anna. Look. Why? Why does it not flee?
because it has nowhere else to run.
Words cannot express my shock in that moment when I saw the Traveler start to leave. And even more shocking is the moment when it stayed. Now, there are two interpretations here, and things are left very vague. It's very easy to accept the witness's interpretation at face value of what happened. But I think it's not what happened. The Traveler isn't staying here because it has nowhere else to run. I think the Traveler is staying because of Rasputin. Why? Well, do you remember what the speaker said way back when? Devotion inspires bravery. Bravery leads to sacrifice, and sacrifice leads to death. Rasputin understood devotion, bravery, and sacrifice, and ultimately chose to die to become a force that would save humanity, to become a guardian. And that, I think, is something that the Traveler recognized, and I think that is why it stayed. You want to know something even more incredible? The original key art for Destiny has foreshadowed this moment for 10 years almost. I'm going to go ahead and get Martin to throw that up on the screen, but this is very deliberate. This may well have been part of a plan that's been going on for 10 years. And isn't that quite remarkable if you look at all of it? I think it's also worth remembering that when you look at everything to do with Aramis's side of the story, she is going to see this as yet again another moment where her faith in the Witness is going to be shaken. And yes, it's partly because, yet again, her plans to serve it have failed, but also it's because the Traveler has yet again rebuked her. She has seen that the whirlwind has not been repeated, that humanity is indeed different. Maybe special, maybe not, but regardless, there is a difference here. And with her already shaking faith, and the acknowledgement that she sits in a place where she won't share in the future that Ido and the House of Light are building, you suddenly have to recognize that there is a moment for Aramis to potentially question the Witness again here. This is a moment that I think we'll remember for years, not least because of the fact that afterwards we get some of the most shocking lore revelations coming out of Anna Bray and Rasputin in the Helm. The conversations with Zavala and Ikora, you know, they're good, but they're nothing that I think we didn't all feel ourselves. When we all loaded into the tower and saw the empty space where the Traveler used to be, well, I mean, it's a bit shocking for all of us, really, isn't it? But I think the really important thing is this conversation with Rasputin. Take a listen to this, his final message to us, sent acknowledging the fact that by the time that we heard it, he would probably be dead. Take a listen.
Guardian, if you are listening to this, then the deed is done. I trust my sacrifice was not in vain. Anna and I have shared our farewells. This will be hard on her, but she is resilient, strong, and she is not alone. I have a final message for you as well. The Neptunian city in Osiris's visions is real. I do not know its exact location, but it is home to the Veil, an object of immense paracausal power, one that is linked to the Traveler. The details are contained within the Nephele stronghold files retrieved from the Cosmodrome. I have decrypted them for Osiris's benefit. Tell him it is a parting gift, from one old miser to another. All other files referencing the city have been deleted from my records, and not by me. Someone wanted it to remain a secret. Anna once worried that she had neglected to teach me how to trust. But now, as my penultimate act, I entrust this knowledge to you. Use it well, my Seraph. Humanity has no more need of a war mind. Not when you have each other.
There are many things I could say about this. I want to first address the real elephant in the room. Whilst yes, it's true that the city on Neptune that we all knew was coming with Lightfall has indeed shown itself, it's Neomuna, there is something important there. A paracausal object that in some way is tied to the Traveler, a source of amazing paracausal power, and it's called the Veil. What is the Veil? This is something where I'm actually not going to do too much explaining, and there's a good reason for that. We have had the Veil as a kind of background artifact of Destiny's lore for years. It's been something that has been speculated to be a Darkness faction, kind of like the Cabal or Hive. Except, actually, the combatants this time are just beings of pure darkness. Maybe this is where the Tormentors come from. Regardless of whether it is or not, it's something remarkably powerful. And perhaps most importantly of all, there are many theories and many different bits and pieces and many even supposed leaks that have come along for years and stated different things about what the Veil is or isn't. If you look back at the Taken King Cade book that you got in the Collector's Edition, we've even seen bits and pieces that have noted that those diagrams that Cade had drawn could be the Veil, and they're very Tormentor-ish. But I actually don't want to say much more, other than what is stated here. It is clear that it is a paracausal entity that is somehow linked to the Traveler, and the reason for that is as follows. If I do give you some exhaustive list of everything that we've quote-unquote known about the Veil for years, that's a problem. Not just because some of it is leaks, but some of it is not even provable. In fact, all of the leaks aren't provable. And these are leaks from years ago that we genuinely don't know much about, and may well have changed in the meantime. There are bits and pieces we just don't understand. What I will say is this. The Veil has been hinted to openly in-game as well. In particular, when you take a look at Shadowkeep, there was a lore book that we ended up getting thanks to communications from the Darkness, and it was called Unveiling. The entity, the object, whatever it may be, is clearly something of darkness. And you know what? I think there's a good reason for that too. The veiled statues that we find throughout pyramid ships, throughout the system, in places of terrible darkness, this is all a big hint. This is all something that matters. And perhaps most importantly of all, it's linked to the Traveler, supposedly. If it's linked to the Traveler, I think there's an important note there, because as the Traveler has always been seen, there's been this somewhat dubious, but still somewhat clear connection to an entity within the Unveiling stories known as the Gardener, and its counterpart, the one that it did battle with, the one that effectively began the conflict between light and dark, was known as the Winnower. I don't know if the Witness is truly the leader of the forces of darkness anymore. I don't know if the Witness is truly our final enemy. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what place it has in the story anymore. And the reason being is because I don't know if the Witness is the Winnower anymore. If it isn't, we have a serious question on our hands. Either way, this is where Lightfall truly begins. In the next 2 weeks, we'll be engaging in lots of talk about the lore of Lightfall, starting with the Collector's Edition. There are going to be spoilers all over the place. And so, as a quick note before we end today, I wanted to restate my spoiler policy for all of you who don't know. Day before on Story Stuff, I'm going to go ahead and give you advance warning of what we're going to make as best we can. As far as everything is concerned, every video is going to have spoiler warnings. For the first week, I will have generic-esque thumbnails. Thumbnails that will then get replaced with other thumbnails after a week, so that people have time to play through the campaign. Similar policy on raid stuff. After the day one is done, I'm going to let people play the game and have their generic thumbnails up for another day or so, and after that is done, yeah, we're gonna get into more raid stuff. Having said all of that, for the moment, stick around, we clearly have a lot of Lightfall things to talk about. And that's really it, that marks the end of our video. If you want more Destiny content and to jump in on Lightfall, go ahead and hit subscribe. We are nearly at a million subscribers. I checked today and we're about 2,000 away. It's getting closer and closer every day, and I have a feeling we'll get there just before Lightfall. If we do, thank you. It's been an absolute privilege, and is continuing to be so, to sit and talk and tell stories to you. It's honestly quite a blessing. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, even though it was just my reactions and a little bit of a look into what's happened this week, then yeah, go ahead and hit like and let me know by leaving comments down below in the comments section. And as per usual, know that your viewership, as always, is quite enough for me regardless of whether you like or comment or subscribe. And that my name is Bife. Porodasia Arastra. I'll see you Starside.